Hi guys, and welcome to our Georgian farmhouse. We've lived here for over 2 years now, and we've just had some exciting news from the council about one of our rooms, which I'll be sharing later on in the video. So I thought now was a good time to kind of go around the house, do a tour of everything we've done so far, and break down the costs. So when we've gone into a room, we've kind of had a budget in mind, and there's been unexpected costs, as there is in every project. So I thought it might be useful, hopefully if you're renovating, or even if you're not, even if you're just interested, hopefully it's interesting and helpful to show you what each room has cost us with unplanned expenses and planned expenses. So let's go. So the playroom was the first room that we did. We moved in the February, and our daughter's birthday is in the March. So we wanted it done in time for her birthday, as her birthday present really. So we didn't plan it as methodically, I guess, as we have done with future renovation projects. And instead we kind of just thought, let's just go for it and we'll kind of see what happens as we go. Unlike others where we've done more research, I guess we just had a bit of an idea and we just went for it. So we started with the chalkboard paint on the bottom. We stripped it all because it was all grey and it had wallpaper on the bottom half and then grey paint on the top half. So we stripped all the wallpaper and then we did this lovely chalkboard paint, which she has a great time playing with. Then we just went for a neutral, it's a cobweb. Oh no, it's not, it's a crack. Yeah, we just went for a neutral, I think it was Egyptian cotton by 𝗙𝗶𝗍. So that probably cost about maybe 40 quid for that paint. The chalkboard paint was also 40 quid. I think it was buy one, get one free or buy one, get one half price at the time. And I got this from Etsy, which again was probably about £40, maybe £50. And then this was about £30. In terms of we didn't really do any renovations in here. All we did was add some architrave to these doors because they didn't fit. They didn't fit. They were just baggy doors. So we instead added the architrave to make them look like they fit. So we did it. We had it done in time for her birthday and it was lovely. She came downstairs and we had it all set up with one little present on the table down here, if you can see that down there. Yeah, we had like a little present set up here. And it was just really lovely that actually she came downstairs and she had this room to be able to play in, which is very, very fortunate and lucky for her and for us. And it's a really useful room to have because all of her toys just live in here. However, I say that, it's just another room to tidy and keep clean. It's kind of like chaos every day. But she's learning to tidy up as she gets a bit older. Yeah, so I think the total cost of the room, because it wasn't really any renovation work, we got this really cool light. How nice is this? We track it better now, but we weren't tracking it then. We were kind of just, yeah, it'll be fine, whatever, and a bit like blasé about the whole thing. Whereas now John's got a spreadsheet and we're much more methodical and a bit more uptight, a bit annoying maybe about the whole thing. But it helps us keep on track more. Whereas for this room, because we just moved in, we had no idea what we were doing renovation wise. We didn't do any renovations in this room. It literally was just decorating. So I think the whole thing probably cost £200. Something like that, which is cool. It's a nice room. We've started on the downstairs because we've tried to prioritise as we've gone along the rooms we spend the most time in, the rooms that people will see but we will see. So as opposed to starting upstairs, which might be more sensible to be honest, because then you're not traipsing things through a nicely done hallway to get up to the upstairs rooms, whatever. We decided to start with the rooms we spend the most time in. And we started with the playroom because it was our daughter's birthday present and she loves it. And that was our priority. After then, we decided to do the Snug, which we spend every single evening in. We are very lucky to have quite a few reception rooms in this house. So we do have the living room the other side, but we knew we would spend more time in the Snug because it's adjoined to the kitchen. So we did the Snug next, then the kitchen. So let's go and I'll show you through. This is cool, by the way, because I've got a camera now. So there's an outfit change because I had to actually buy a camera in between filming. My phone has no storage left, so I can't film anything on it anymore, really. I've tried to delete stuff, but it's just annoying, isn't it? So I bought a camera and now it follows me around the room, which is very cool. So yeah, we're in the Snug now. This was the second room we did. And I have actually got the costs written down for this one. So this room before was like floral-ish wallpaper on the chimney breast, just here, and then kind of like a duck egg blue everywhere else. And it was fine, it was like nice, but it wasn't really what I envisaged for the room. I think going through different houses and where we'd been beforehand, I'd kind of like, I'd played with different design ideas and I'd often copied off what I'd seen was like a trend at that time. But I knew when I saw this house that it deserved kind of traditional, bold decor and not just something that was like trendy or whatever. So for this room, I did actually have a vision of kind of like, I didn't realise at the time, but it's called dark academia. So kind of like dark, moody, a little bit like what you would imagine an old library looking, like quite studious and cool. So what we started with in this room was more renovation work than we had ever done before. There was a patch just below that window of damp, and when we kind of investigated into it, we realised it's because the bricks needed repointing outside, so it was getting some penetrating damp coming in from outside. So John had to just strip back the wall. It was literally, if you pushed it, you literally could just like, it would just crumble. So we had to, yeah, strip it back, just like kind of that strip underneath the window really. A few people have said to me, how did you know how to deal with damp, or how did you know how to do certain things in certain rooms? Before we moved into this house, we joined a few different Facebook groups of renovations and old properties, and a few people had recommended these things called dry rods. So you literally, they're like a rod and you just push them into the wall where the damp was, and I think it absorbs it or something like that. So we waited until they'd absorbed it, it dried out, and then we could repoint it and then we could re-render and replaster it. And actually, touch wood, we haven't had an issue since. So after the damp was resolved, then we decided to brick slip the fireplace. So before it was kind of just white subway, no, they were white square tiles. Again, they were fine, but it didn't really fit in with the kind of image that I had in my head. So these are just brick slips. They basically are about this deep and they look like a real brick, but they're just a facade. So you just have to you just have to use adhesive and you literally just put them on top of the surface that you have. So we did it all the way in, as you can see, all the way around. You could do it up here in this little section here that you can see, and then all the way around the actual fireplace, if you can see. Yes. I sanded the beam, but yeah, just because it was a bit orangey. I felt like a school child just sitting on the floor. Yeah, John built this out of some old wood that he found, literally, I think it was in the garden. Some new MDF that he bought from B&Q and kind of just pieced it together, did some beading, so got the structure, did some beading, added a skirting board, added some handles, obviously did the doors with the hinges and things like that. And then we painted it all the same green 06 to match in with the walls. That was the first time John had ever built anything kind of joinery wise. And he said he really enjoyed it. I think it gave him more confidence and just more experience to try stuff, because actually, even if you made a mistake, like one of the doors doesn't open very easily, but who cares? So it just gives you a bit more experience the more time you do it. You realise, oh, actually, I can try this again. And if it doesn't work, I'll learn for next time. And now he's a pretty dab hand at doing woodwork. He's a pro at paneling pro. So yeah, pretty decent. Things, we didn't change the floor because the floor's already lovely, if you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of like a hardwood anyway, so we just left that. I just knew I wanted a dark colour. And I didn't really think about it loads, to be honest. I just thought afterwards, well, we love green. Why not just do it a really dark green? And we bought the paint, which is green 06 by Lick. And yeah, we just decided to go for painting everywhere. It was quite scary to begin with, to be honest, because when we did the dado rail, it all looked a bit like just crap. Like it did look a bit like, oh God, what is this? But we tested a little sample pot on the corner over there. So we knew the colour with 2 coats was nice, really nice. So we thought, you should have to trust the process, it's fine. Then I decided to do the radiator because it looked like a white eyesore. The expensive stuff comes from, I think, the accessories. Because a room isn't really a room, it is a room. A room isn't really finished until you style it, I think. So I think it can look like nice, But until you style it to bring it all together, that's when it makes that impact. And that's when people say like, oh, what a lovely room. And that usually comes with obviously furniture, which is a big expense, but all the styling afterwards, and that also takes time. So the total cost of this room, I'll just go through my expenses. Pretty little body dancing on that floor. Okay, so I've made a reel of this, of what this room looked like beforehand and how much it cost us. So just going to go through it again because I had it all written down, but I'm just thinking it's easiest to... Oh yeah, so the damp was £40 to resolve with the dry rods and the new plaster. The cabinet wasn't that much because we already had some of the wood, but then the new MDF, so that had to cost about £125. But we were quoted between 2 and 4 grand for somebody to build something like that. So that's mad savings. Obviously sanding the beam didn't cost anything. Yeah, the brick slips cost £250 and the total cost of the paint for the room was £100 because we got one free when you bought 3. And all the accessories and the furniture. So when you think about it, it's mad price because when you add it all up, kind of 120 quid, 250 quid there, doesn't sound like it's that much to do a whole room renovation. But then we bought the new sofa and then we bought kind of the accessories that go with it, so like the pictures, even just like bits, do you know what I mean? Like candles and trays and vases and all those things, they add up quite a lot. So that all in, this room cost just under 2.5 grand. I would like to know what you guys think to that cost, because personally, I think it's okay in the grand scheme of a renovation. It's not too bad for a room. When I posted that reel, the majority of people actually thought it would have cost more, so that's pretty good, I guess. And people very kindly said that it looks like it cost more, so that's nice too. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think it looks like, do you think 2.5 grand for one room is expensive, or is it okay? I mean, if we go to the kitchen next, then we're talking expensive, because kitchens are a fortune. Okay, we'll go to the next room we did, which was the downstairs bathroom. And I actually started this whilst John was still doing the Snug, even though, because I'm a dinkus, yeah, we said, let's just do one room at a time. And we were like, yeah, cool plan, bro. Cool plan. Yeah, good plan. I like that plan. That's a really good plan. And actually, John was doing the Snug and I was like, bored. So I decided to do a quick redecoration of the downstairs bathroom. It was very impulsive and fun to do. And I had no idea how to wallpaper or to paint, really. But, oh well. So let's go have a look at that. So this room now looks entirely different. So I decided on a whim just to redecorate it when John was in the middle of doing the Snug. And I really wanted kind of maximalism, kind of Victorian, just something that looked really cool and quite like out there. So there was already white subway tiles on the bottom half of the wall and then just a teal blue paint on the top half. And because it was supposed to be whilst John was doing the Snug, just a kind of small renovation. I thought if I took the tiles off the walls, it would need replastering, and I have no idea how to do that. So instead I just Googled one night, can you paint tiles? And you can. There was a tile paint specifically made for that job. So I was like, right, cool. So the next day, whilst John was doing the Snug, I went out and bought some tile paint in a navy blue, bought some wallpaper online, and painted the tiles and wallpapered, and I'd never done it before. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I wasn't the best, and I've been criticised online quite a bit since then, and rightfully so, because I didn't know what I was doing. However, what isn't rightfully so is the people saying that it looked crap, because each to their own, but I think it looked fantastic. And I'll show you a picture of what it looked like then. I loved it. However, it always was a short-term budget makeover. It cost me about 125 quid to do, and it looked like a totally different room. But after about a year, which is good because I kind of anticipated maybe in a year's time we'll be ready to start the bathroom properly, the tile paint started to chip off because I couldn't be asked to do it properly, to be honest. So I didn't sand, I didn't prime, and I didn't seal. What can you do, huh? So yeah, it started to peel, but it lasted a year. was pretty decent going, I would say. And by that point, we were like, right, time to do it properly. So we did some shiplap paneling on the bottom half of the walls, wallpapered again, and painted the ceiling from the navy to the burgundy. So now we have a very nice, in my opinion, burgundy bathroom, also with some Victorian kind of floor. We still didn't want to spend a great deal on what's quite a small little guest on. It's like a WC downstairs, like it's just a small little room. Nice, we got a new suite, but we didn't want to spend an absolute fortune on it. So I think the total cost of this room, I think John's got it written down as about £500. So fairly cheap again, obviously more expensive than last time, but still pretty good. Do you think the blue looks better, or does the burgundy look better? And then this is our kitchen, which we absolutely love and spend so much time in here that it was, I think, worth the investment. We had always wanted to do our own kitchen because we lived in a new build barn conversion before here. It was already like a done new kitchen. It was nice, but it wasn't exactly how we would have designed it. So we'd always wanted a house where we could design the kitchen by ourselves for us. We also knew that it would be a great expense, and it was something we couldn't renovate. It was something we couldn't do ourselves. At that stage, if we'd have waited a little bit longer, maybe, but we would still be living with the old kitchen now. But we knew we wanted a kitchen that felt like professionals had done it and not a DIY kitchen. We did look into doing it ourselves, but we did the kitchen after we'd only lived here for about 4 or 5 months. And at that stage, our renovation skills were pretty novice-y, shall we say. So we kind of just knew it would have imperfections and mistakes, and we'd be able to see them, and we'd be a little bit frustrated about living with them all the time. John loves to cook, I love to drink wine, so we're pretty much in the kitchen all the time as a family. We've got the dining table just there and the snug just over there. So within this kind of L shape, we're always in here. So yeah, what I'm saying is we knew it was an investment worth making because we spend majority of our life in here. However, it is an expense. It's an expensive expense. So we did loads of research, I did loads of research, and went to all different kind of kitchen companies to find out which one would suit what we wanted. And I knew I wanted a shaker style kitchen, quite farmhousey, but also a bit more modern than what was here before. What was here before was nice. It was just quite old, like it had been here for quite a long time. So it was starting to fall apart. The doors were falling off. We didn't really like the cupboard colour, and most of the appliances didn't work. The dishwasher didn't work. The hob didn't work. So we knew we thought we'll just do an entirely new kitchen, stick with the same layout, but do it for us. So since we weren't doing it ourselves, we knew it would be a more expensive job that we were paying professionals to do, but we're very glad we did, because actually what we found in here is that this had a fake mantle that didn't really exist, and you could just knock it out and make it bigger. So before it was probably about up to here, and then we've extended it to obviously be over there. Over on that wall over there, we found a false chimney breast that had just been built out massively into the room. It was kind of protruding into the room quite a lot with asymmetric alcoves, and they didn't need to be there because we could just make the whole wall flat like we have. And oh yeah, behind this sink was a totally rotten wall where there'd been an historic leak of the pipes. So if we'd have done that ourselves, we wouldn't have had the first clue about what to do, where to start or anything. So we're very grateful that we had professionals doing that, because they were fantastic, and they could just roll with the punches kind of thing and just figure out as they went. Most kitchen companies do interest-free finance, and that's what we did. We didn't move into this house with a pot of money like some people do. It'd be great if we did, but we didn't. We didn't have a pot of money left over from selling our house to be able to renovate this property. So all we've done is we've kind of budgeted each month, and we've taken months to do a room, because it's kind of, what do we have left over after we've been paid from our jobs to be able to pay for little bits of this room, another bit of this room, another bit of this room as the months go by. So we got interest-free finance on this kitchen over a few years, and it's worth it in my opinion. But the actual total cost of this kitchen, the whole kitchen, so that's the fitting, that's the electrics, that's the damp, the leak, sorry. Oh, we also had to get cornicing handmade to fit where the flat wall came. So pretty much everything. So plumbing, electrics, all the cabinetry, all the appliances was £30,000. Holy guacamole. And then we had a little bit of money on top of that to spend on things like the light fixings, and just accessories, I suppose. So yeah, we're a very large expense, but spread over, interest-free, over 5 years. So how long do my arms look? What the holy guacamole is going on here? It's the most expensive room in the house, without a doubt, but it's kitchen, innit? Kitchens are expensive, everyone knows that. So maybe we could have done it cheaper if we'd done it ourselves, but maybe it would also look like a bag of turd. So what can you do, eh? Oh, we bought the beam. What I did is I went to a joinery company just in our local town, walked around just looking for wood, walking around. And I was like, this is a nice piece of wood. Can I have this piece of wood? And he was like, yeah, man. So I bought the piece of wood, and the wood itself was like a little bit longer than that. Not much longer, maybe like that much longer than what's there. And the wood cost about 100 quid. And then I found another joinery company with a CNC machine, and that's where they do the engraving. And that cost, let me think about it. About 90 quid, I think. I think the whole thing was about 200 quid, which I think that's pretty decent because it looks pretty good, in my humble opinion. And then the last room we've done is the hallway. We estimated this. By this point, we were like, spreadsheets. We've got this. We know what's going on. Take 6 weeks. My friends, it did not take 6 weeks. It took 6 months. So that were a bit unexpected. But it's lovely. I think, apart from the snug in the kitchen, it's my favourite room. In terms of the entrance, like it's just such a lovely welcome now, whereas before it was quite grey and quite very safe, I would have said. Going for these beautiful floor tiles made a really big difference. A radiator like this, again, made quite a big difference. It's like a cast iron, more vintage one. And then having all these pictures that you can see in the mirror, just lovely jubbly. We did the MDF paneling ourselves. Again, as you can see here. John tiled the floor himself. Paneling was £250 with all the wood that we needed to buy. But it is big because obviously you've got all the upstairs too. The tiles were very kindly gifted as part of a collaboration, but they would have cost us £300 for the space because it's quite a large space. We did a collaboration also with the carpet, with 𝗙𝗶 carpets. That would have cost around about £1,000 for the runner. The stairwells were £12 each. And we needed about 18 of them, so that was quite expensive. And then most of the accessories were just from charity stores or antique stores, so they didn't cost that much. Sometimes they were about £1, sometimes they were about £5. The total cost of the hallway was probably around about £3,000. Expensive, but it did make a big difference, and it was necessary. So that is all the rooms we've done in this house so far. We have 18 rooms in total in the whole property, and we have done, I guess, 5 if you count the hallway. We've done the playroom, the downstairs bathroom, the snug, the kitchen, and the hallway. We are currently in the process of doing the upstairs family bathroom, probably about 4 weeks away from completing it now, and that has cost us so far around about £1,200. We're hoping we'll be about £1,500 all in, but we'll just see. We've got some paint samples from Fenwick and Tilbrook that are all kind of different shades of pink. I'm thinking for the walls in here above the panelling to do kind of like a plastery pink colour that hopefully will tie in with the dark wood that we're thinking of doing the panelling. However, we've just thought recently if the dark wood might be a bit difficult to stain with the kind of panelling that we're doing, because we're doing like a shiplap, will it look inauthentic basically? So we may do instead on the bottom, the panelling, which you can see kind of here, we might do like a dark brown, kind with a hint of red, but not burgundy, more brown, to match in some ceiling beams that we're going to put in, which are also going to be like a dark brown French oak colour. And then maybe plastery pink above. Will that go, do you think? It's hard to, because we've got the green tiles, haven't we, in the bath, in the shower. And I think, well, pink and green definitely go, we know that. But will it be too many colours? I don't know, I'm unsure. What do you guys think? Because it's useful to know. Or should we go more neutral? Should we do like a pink on the panelling maybe, and then do like a neutral on top? I don't know, but should we try them out and see what they look like? Should we try on this wall?
I need a screwdriver. Okay, so
Vintage,
peony.
yeah, vintage peony. So it's like more of a paley pink. But I think when I saw online, it's, we'll have a look what it looks like.
Do you want this one first?
Yeah, do you want to open it? Put a special thing.
Special fly.
Oh, it's nice. It's very pale. Yeah, try and do it in like a big patch, and then we can, when it dries. It's quite light in here at the minute, isn't it? So is it maybe a bit too pink though?
Yeah, I think it's too pink.
Too pink, okay.
Next one in the box is Marrakesh.
Ooh. I think that looks nice. Because my idea in my mind is that it almost looks a bit like plaster, the colour of plaster, which that does, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Let's see how it dries.
Yeah, and then you've got that. That's really complementary to the green, the tiles. And I think it would work really well with the wood, the brown wood. Or if we don't do wood stain like we were saying, and instead you just have brown. Wax wing, yeah, so that was the one that was suggested, like a recommendation.
That is just a left right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice neutral. It's a bit like stony, isn't it? But more like just what? Just go that way a little bit so I can smell like. What's your verdict of the three?
I see that one dries, but probably in the middle, plaster one.
Right, nice. Yeah, I like that one. So a couple of weeks ago, we showed you how John and I on a random evening decided to make a chicken coop. We made the chicken coop out of like an old shed. So because chicken coops are like hundreds of pounds, we thought we've got the shed in the garage that we're not using, why don't we just try and put it to good use? So the next plan is to basically build a bit of like a run for them and then have them just out in the open. We're kind of in the process of the adoption, but we need to take pictures of the full hutch, coop and run for them to be able to like go through the full process. So we need to finish that, but we're doing that whilst in the middle of the bathroom. So yeah, it's interesting. So let's go look at what it looks like so far. Why are you forlorn on the grass?
That's my shoes. So there's a pull cord which starts it.
Yeah.
That's the state of it.
Oh dear.
So you just get off with my hand.
What, just now?
Yeah.
Alright. I thought you cut the grass the other day.
I did, yeah.
You're quitting again.
Just snapped.
Oh dear.
So,
Is it like at the top bit you mean when you like pull the...
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I've had to shorten the pull cord,
Okay.
wrap it around this.
What is that? Like what is that?
Yeah, it's like a wheel
Does that go inside?
which goes inside, yeah.
Okay.
And then I've put that in there. So the plan is that if you pull that, then it'll spin that, which then spins that, which then starts the engine.
Okay. You finished it? You just doing it now?
Yeah, I need to try and just put it back together though and see if it actually works.
Test it.
So it's like tie a knot in this. I think that should clamp it down. Confidence level is probably at about 8%.
8%.
If this is gonna work. Yeah.
8 or 80?
8.
Alright. I've got more confidence in you than that. I think it'll work.
Just pull off.
Maybe it's because you use your lawnmower every minute of every day. It's finally given up. Leave me alone, man. Early in the morning. Beautiful day, huh? need to do some laundry. It's always a day to take advantage of laundry, isn't it? Oh, it's sunny here, isn't it?
Yes, it was like that. So that would have gone in there, but then it's pulled out of there.
Right, okay.
So then what I've done is I've cut it down and I've tried to recreate that in there.
Okay. Is this the moment of truth then?
Try.
Go outside! Okay, so chicken coop in the side garden. Just watch out for the washing lines. I need to do some more washing because it's such a nice day. So I'll show you. This is the side garden. So we have this space here. Here is the garden room, just for context. There's the back garden where we have the vegetables. Monty. So inside, obviously, John's going to build some like perches for them and then put all the stuff in that you need to put in, I guess. We did have a hammock here, but it got mouldy from the rain, so we threw it away. What can you do? There's still some rope there from it actually on the floor we need to tidy up, and some rubbish over there from building this hutch. Coop, still calling it a hutch. So all around this garden here is going to be, I mean basically the chickens can run free wherever they want to run free, really. But yeah, John's going to make a bit more of like a run within this area. So they have maybe this designated area here, because it's kind of already delineated by this beam. So possibly something like that. And then once we've got pictures of it all, we can finalise the adoption process. Monty, do you want some chicken friends? Do you want some chicken friends? Do you want some chicken friends? Monty, come on then. He's a good boy. Do you want some chicken friends? It'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice chicken friends. Hello, chicken friends. Hello. Just don't eat them. No, good. So that's where we're up to with that. That's what it looks like. Now, if we go in the back, is there a bullet bee on me? If we go in the back, we'll go have a look at how the vegetables are doing. I mean, this is, yeah, not great. We've kind of got, the lawn's a bit dead over here. I think it's because it doesn't really get much sun, possibly. Maybe just some evening sun, actually, I could be lying. This is, or was, beautiful wisteria. You can see it's starting to like, is it wisteria? Somebody tell me, because I don't really know the first thing about gardening. But I think it could be amazing. We just need to sort all the weeds out and maybe plant that up. We just never come round here. We never come round the back. So we kind of forget it exists, to be honest. Okay, Monty's leading the way. So we didn't do that one. We haven't done that one yet. And we haven't done that one yet. We have this one plant here, which I have no idea what it is, but it seems to be surviving well. And these are the ones that we planted up. And they're all surviving so far. I don't know if they're doing fantastically, but they're all alive. So I think John planted, that looks like rosemary to me, but I could be wrong because like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I know he planted strawberries, which I presume are those. He planted potatoes. I can't remember what else. I would like to make more of a feature out of the back of here because we get the sun pretty much because we're south facing that way, we kind of have the sun all day until I would say about 5, by which point those huge trees start to block the sun. So it would be nice, because it comes around here, to have like a little sitting area, bistro set to sit out here and just enjoy the sunshine. That'd be nice. It would be lovely. Now, do you want to know what's weird? I've just seen some snail trails on the floor, and I bought some weird skincare from Amazon, including snail mucus. How weird is that? Snail mucus, just putting snail mucus on my skin. Yeah, what you do? Also, I bought, on the topic of weird skincare, I also bought salmon, can I say sperm? Salmon secretions from the privates. Face masks. Yeah, weird. Did you fix it? Yeah? Yeah? We've had very exciting news from the council as well this week. So this is a grade 2 listed property, which means that for every room we do, we have to get council consent. So we apply for listed building consent and we do a full application with all the plans and everything we want to do. And then we wait to hear back whether we need to make amendments or whether it's been approved or denied. And next up, you guys voted for the living room to be our next project. We were kind of in between doing the garden, the living room, or the garden room. And yeah, you guys voted for the living room, and thankfully the council have approved our plans this week, so we can start that very, very soon. I know we haven't finished the bathroom and we said we would do one room at a time, but we're so keen to get that done, just because I think it's going to look amazing, that John has said, why don't we try and because we're doing paneling in the bathroom, we could do the paneling in the bathroom and then do the paneling in the living room at the same kind of time. So yeah, I'm excited. I also asked you guys whether we should keep the fireplace that's in there. So currently it's kind of a Roman Greek style with, what are they called? Columns. And John hates it. I think it's quite nice because Georgians did take inspiration from Greeks and Roman architecture. So I kind of feel like it fits, but John hates it. And I think a majority of you guys said, yeah, agree with John, get rid. So yeah, that's the plan, to maybe try and find or source a Victorian fireplace instead, maybe from like a reclamation yard. But we're just excited to get stuck in. I just want to rip up the carpet and just see what we have to work with and just go to town on it, basically. So yes, I'm very, very excited to get stuck into that. So that'll be next week's video, our first part 1 of renovating the living room. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and thank you to all of you, because I've now reached a part of YouTube where I can have memberships. If you want to join up for memberships, you can look at the perks below, and I would be very, very appreciative. Have a lovely week, and I will see you next week. Bye.